Today we're going to create a data entry application in WizzyWeb in less than 10 minutes. It has to be less than 10 minutes because Google videos only give you 10 minutes. So this will be a good test if you can actually create a real working web application in less than 10 minutes with WizzyWeb. Okay, so we're going to select native PHP code from MySQL, which is the best option if you're using a MySQL database, because you're going to get PHP code specifically designed to run fast with MySQL. So let's click that option, and you'll see down here a default form was generated from the default database here at WizzyWeb.com. So the host is localhost. When you create your application, you will enter your host name here, which will be your website name, whatever it is, .com, or you could enter your IP address if you wanted to. Okay, so let's set that back so we can keep working here. And username, password, and the default database, which in our case is WizzyWeb_DB1 database 1, and the table is employees. So you need an existing database and table to create a data entry application with WizzyWeb. And so here's our default form generated from the fields that are in the employees table inside the database WizzyWeb_DB1. Okay, now what we actually have here is a finished application, but we're going to go through some of the details so you can understand it better. We're going to select one of the fields which are now available in the object selector here, which is where it says data source. This is the object selector. So we're going to select one of the fields from the employees table, which is employee department. And we don't want a text box. Text box is just the default field, and we're going to change it to radio button and enter our cities where we have offices: Boston, London, and Tokyo. Hit the refresh button, and then we scroll down to our application preview, which is down here, and as you can see, that changed accordingly. Okay, so now we're going to select employee title, and we don't like this default label where it says employee title. We want that to simply say title, so we'll change that, and we'll refresh, and we'll see our changes updated down here. So that's all you really need to do in order to do a basic application, and we can run our application at any time by clicking the run button. And it's the actual PHP script running. There is no simulation. This is not a farce. This is the actual code running on the server. And this number is simply a randomly generated number, so people don't clobber each other's applications if they have the same name. Okay, so now we need to go to one more place here, which is the submit button object, and this is the default SQL that is generated to submit the form values into the database. So you don't even have to do that manually, although you can change it if you want to, if you know SQL and you want to do something special, but normally you would just leave that as is. And the only property that you'd really want to set is the redirect location, which is where the user will be sent to after they submit the form. So I'm going to send them back to the WizzyWeb home page, and I just click refresh, and then I'm just going to run it again, and just to take a quick look at it. Okay, it looks good. Go back into WizzyWeb by clicking the back button, and I'm basically done. So now I want to generate the source code for it. Simply click the code button, enter my username and password, and WizzyWeb generates the source code here. In order to get this application on my server, I simply select all, copy it, and paste it into my favorite text editor, which is good old Notepad, and save that to my computer as I normally would, FTP it to my website, and I'm done. So that's a complete application in WizzyWeb, and I think even with the guided help that I did, it was much less than 10 minutes, but we'll see. Okay, so that's creating a, let's go back to the home page, creating a native PHP code for MySQL data entry program in WizzyWeb. That's the basics. In further lessons, we'll get into more advanced features.